Good morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson, your host. Welcome in. Welcome to those of you that are watching us on Facebook Live. That's right. If you are more easily able to access Facebook, why don't you just check us out there. Go to Facebook and search KHTS Radio and click on that banner there. You'll see me here in studio, and you can watch and listen. So welcome in. It's good to have you. While our campuses are closed, our students are staying home, and I know it's been difficult for everyone. It's been a tough adjustment for parents. Trust me, it's been a tough adjustment for your kids as well. I know they miss their friends, and whether they admit to it or not, they really do miss their teachers and their campuses and all the different springtime activities. But keep in mind, it's been a tough adjustment for your teachers as well. I know a lot of teachers that were really looking forward to spring break this year, not just as a chance to get away and relax, but as a chance to get their feet underneath them in the area of distance learning. Been talking to a lot of my teacher friends who have been taking advantage of the vacation and the rainy weather to stay inside and get their virtual learning platforms up to date to make sure they bring back the best experience for your kids as possible. And I hadn't planned to do this, but I just want to take a second to salute the teachers out there. It really is touching. I saw an interesting and kind of ironic, little bit political post on Facebook about how interesting it is that we need to have all these testing and accountability measures. Otherwise, teachers and principals won't work as hard. And yet, as soon as the testing and accountability measures were canceled this year, teachers and principals doubled, tripled, quadrupled the amount of work that they were doing. And they are just out there, they're in this line of work just because they love your kids and working with them and seeing them move forward. And it's really touched me this week to see a lot of my teacher friends in various districts around Southern California working for the traditional public system as well as charter and private schools, working even harder in spring break than they do during the typical school year, getting things ready for your kids to come back. So when you touch bases with them next week, make sure that you say thanks and let them know how much you appreciate them. I know that how much they appreciate you and your kids. So let's get into this. While our kids are away, SCVI and iLEAD Schools is bringing you this special edition of Eye on the Valley. We're calling it Homeschooling Answers, hoping to provide you with all of the support that you need as you help guide your kids through this time with the support of your schools and your school districts. We are here and we want to provide resources for you. We want to provide support for you. We come to you live each day at 9 a.m., Monday through Friday, providing that support and updates in and around our community. We're also continually curating and adding new resources to our website, homeschoolinganswers.com. Why don't you head on over there and just play around a little bit. You can take a break from social media for a few minutes and go to Homeschooling Answers and take a look at some of the resources that we've got there. I'm sure there's going to be at least three things that you're going to find interesting and helpful for your kids, whether they're in preschool, elementary, middle, or high school. I'm sure you're going to find some resources. You can click on their grade level. You can click on a subject in particular that you're looking for. You can find parent resources, different community resources, and some fun things as well. And if you don't find what you need, would you email us? Email us at homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org and let us know what you need, what you're looking for, what you're curious about. Let us know what you're struggling with. If you don't know what you need, but you know where you're struggling, let us know, and we'll work with you and try to get those resources up as soon as you can. So that's homeschoolinganswers.com or email us at homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org. We've got a great show for you today, and we're going to be checking back in with our friend Kathleen Fredette, Director of STEAM Initiatives for iLEAD Schools. If you'll recall, we had her in last week, and she just had so much to share and so many different things to talk about. She's a really cool person, and we ran out of time. I think we took her almost a full hour, and we ran out of time. So we've got her back today. She's going to be sharing some of the cool science activity ideas and things that you can do with your kids at home. We're also going to be talking with our City Librarian, Shannon Vonnegut. She's going to be calling in to share services that the library system here in Santa Clarita is still providing, even though their buildings are closed. We'll also be talking, as usual, with our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Christina Debray. And we're going to hit Habit 7 of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You might think that this would be the last one, but you would be wrong. Believe it or not, there are 8 habits in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Covey identified one a little bit later on after he published that first book in 1989. But we're going to hit Habit 7 today, and it's an important one. It's a very, very important one, and I think it's very timely that we're hitting this one in the middle or toward the tail end here of spring break. So stick with us. We've got lots of stuff coming up and some exciting things. Hopefully something that will touch a soft spot for everybody. You know, today is going to be a good day, and not just because I found $60 in my shirt pocket when I put it on this morning. It's we've got some exciting guests. You know, I shared a couple of invitations over the last few days that I want to reshare. And then one more. I shared a couple yesterday, and I've got one extra one that I want to share with folks. So first of all, the Maker Learning Network and iLEAD Schools is hosting a free webinar series on the next steps in distance learning. You can register, and this URL is a little bit wacky, but we'll post it on the Facebook comment section of our Facebook feed, our Facebook live feed here on KHTS Radio. You can register. It's https://buff.ly/ here we go. You ready for it? 2XRRRWN. You know what? Go to the Facebook Live post in just a few minutes at the commercial break. We'll post that. But we've got some tips and some tricks, what the next steps are in distance learning. We've got a different topic coming up each week, hosted by some of those experts at iLEAD Schools that are curating those resources for you. And so like I said, it's a free webinar. And we've got a lot of different exciting resources coming up starting today. It starts today at 1 p.m. Pacific, and so you can go straight to the registration page. One more time, I'm going to post that on the Facebook Live feed in just a few minutes. The second invitation, we spoke yesterday about celebrating those spring holidays here in the age of safer at home. We talked about hosting virtual Easter meals and Easter egg hunts. I had a conversation with Mom last night about how are we gonna celebrate Easter this year, and I think we may have to do it via Zoom. So we've got a couple of other things. There's a new thing that I want to post for you. Here, I'm sending this link to Sarah McDaniels right now so that she can get that posted on our Facebook feed right away. But there's another post and a URL that's a lot easier for you that will give you some ideas on how you might be able to celebrate Easter, and specifically this link is for those of you that are celebrating Passover. I know there's been some debate in the Jewish community, depending on whether or not you're Orthodox or Reform. There's been some debate among the ultra-Orthodox community about Passover Seders and how we can celebrate this year. Well, my friends at the Jewish Federation of Los Angeles sent me a great resource yesterday that I want to share with you guys. It's an email that shares a great amount of Passover resources and Haggadahs for you to read during your Passover Seder. And so here's the URL. Again, I'm going to post that, but this one's a lot more simple. It's tinyurl.com/ePassover. Right? We're having ePassovers this year, and so we figured we'd make the URL really easy. tinyurl.com/ePassover, and there's a bunch of links there, like I said, to several different Haggadahs and different Passover resources, suggestions, and ideas for you and your family to still continue to celebrate. So do not let these spring holidays pass. Your kids are looking forward to it, and you can take this and turn it into a great time rather than, remember the time we were all locked up and how traumatic that was, to remember how resourceful my parents were and how exciting they made the Easter or Passover holiday. Don't let these holidays go by. There's also a free Love and Logic online parenting course. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Love and Logic tips, and we went through them really quickly. Well, the creators of Love and Logic are going to be taking you on a deep dive, and they are providing the full 6 modules for a full 3 months free. You've got access to all 6 modules. It's normally a $99 course, and they are offering it for free. And so if you're thinking, nah, you know what, I don't really need that, my kids are doing okay, trust me, you will need this eventually. You may want to take advantage of at least one, if not all 6 of these modules. So check that out. You can go to loveandlogic.com, and there's more information there. Again, I'll be posting the URL. This one's a really long one, and so I'm not even going to bother trying to say it over the air. We'll just we'll get it posted on that Facebook feed right away. So do check those out. Don't let the holidays pass this year. Like I said, you want to make sure that this is a special time for you and your families, just like it always is. So check out those resources. We're posting those now. Our first guest today has one of the most exciting jobs, and I've said it before, I really do. She's one of the few people in the world that I truly envy. You know, I love my job, but Kathleen has got the coolest job in the world. Kathleen Fredette is the Director of STEAM Initiatives with iLEAD Schools. Prior to iLEAD, she specialized in middle school gifted math and science, remedial math, and STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM instruction. Kathleen has spent most of her career on the forefront of the fields of science and engineering and education. She's an airborne astronomy ambassador for NASA Sophia, which is a really, really cool thing. She flies in airplanes that go really, really high, kind of touch the base of space there. She's a NASA Endeavor Leadership Distinction Award recipient, a Woman in Aerospace National Award recipient, a Space Foundation Teacher Liaison, an educational advisor to several different boards, including the Southern California Soaring Academy, the National Science Teacher Association Advisory Board, the Aerospace and Dream Up Advisory Board. She holds a master's in STEM education from the NASA Endeavor program at Adams State College, a BA in Biblical Studies and Communications from Wheaton College. She's certified in gifted education instruction and holds a California teaching credential in both secondary science as well as a multiple subject credential. She's also presented at national conferences, including the California Association for the Gifted, National Science Teacher Association, the STEMposium, kind of a cool conference name, the California Science Teacher Association, and many others. She's also led the iLEAD Consortium on student spaceflight to the International Space Station missions 10 and 11, although she and her student teams have sent 6 student-authored experiments to the International Space Station, and I want to go over that a little bit more in just a second. I can't gloss over how cool that is. On top of all this, she's an avid glider pilot, a scuba diver, gardener, wife, and mom. Kathleen, good morning.
Matt Watson.
It's good to talk to you, Kathleen. You are always so upbeat and inspiring. Thanks for coming in.
Well, you just said the word jealous, and that just makes me giggle a little bit, but I just, that's very fun. It's good to hear your voice, and thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely. It's good to talk to you. For those of you that don't know, I work with Kathleen on a very regular basis. She and I are both members of the iLEAD Maker team, which means we support everything curriculum, instruction, and assessment, and so we are constantly meeting and working together, collaborating, and it's been a good 4 weeks now since I've seen Kathleen in 3D. We've only been Zooming and doing things like that. So it's good to catch up with you. Now, first of all, Kathleen, I do want to catch up on some of these projects that you're working on, but I don't want to let time run out. In fact, we're going to make sure we've got plenty of time for you to talk to our parents about all those cool science things, that different ideas that you've got. But I do want to check in on the status of a couple of the projects you're working on, some of those big projects. First, Dream Up. Now, for those of our listeners that don't know, Dream Up is, and I struggle because I don't want to oversimplify this because it's a really big deal, but basically our science facilitators work with our learners, and our learners research and really take a deep dive on what it is or what it is that we're going to need when we start developing deeper space exploration, colonization of things like the moon and Mars, and some of the things that we're going to need, some of the questions and problems that we're going to need to solve. And they start writing experiments today, and they write these experiments according to NASA's regulations. They conduct those experiments here in the classroom, and then a few of them, as selected, actually get to fly. Yes, fly. They take Elon Musk's taxi cab from the Kennedy Space Center, and they fly to the International Space Station, where their experiments are conducted according to the way they've written them. They're conducted by NASA scientists on the space station, and then once they're complete, they're sent back here where our students compare and analyze the differences between the results here on Earth and then also there at the space station while being conducted under microgravity situations. So really cool project. And I know, Kathleen, when last we talked, we actually had 3 student projects that were currently on the space station and were being conducted. What's the status of that project now? Have they come back? Are they still there on the space station?
They'll be coming back soon, and then they go to NanoRacks, which is the payload integrator. They're the ones that we work with to get our ride to space. And NanoRacks has a sister company called DreamUp, which is their STEM outreach. And so we contract with DreamUp. And the reason we went with DreamUp, honestly, we had worked with another company, was because we had the opportunity to build this project in a way that made sense for our community. And that was not just science teachers, that was facilitators working together to create really exciting, hands-on activities and using things that were already out there that NASA had created in their education realm, so that kids were immersed in things like the history and the present day of ISS. So we do a pretty good week-long deep dive into ISS. All of the social, we hit it from a social studies aspect. What are the countries that connected? We model ISS. We look at, we take tours of it, virtual. We go into why does an astronaut float? And that's a great question to move us right into all the forces and gravity. And then we use experimental design. So kids are really understanding. Remember when we were in school, Matt, we got that. First you have your question, and then you do your hypothesis, and then you do the,
yes.
Remember that, right? And actually, when I started teaching, I thought the scientific process was linear, because that's what I was taught. And then we did the science project. We had an idea, So the kids are really immersed in the fact that science is an ongoing investigation, and things we think we know now may not be what we know tomorrow. And so they have the chance to add a little piece to that pile. So we're very excited. We have 3 experiments that'll be coming back to us. One was originated at SCVI Upper, and that is looking at mycelium growth, which has to do with mycology, which means fancy word for mushrooms. And as we know right now, mushrooms are super huge in terms of their medicinal qualities. Well, it turns out their mycelium, which is not a root, but kind of what's left over before there's the fruited little mushroom guy, that can be used to construct stuff, not only textiles, but actual like bricks and stuff can be made out of this. So they sent up a kind of mushroom called turkey tail, and they're looking to see how does it behave, what happens to it when it's in microgravity or space. We have another one around
Before you
aloe
move
vera.
on, I thought it was kind of interesting, Kathleen. I had a chance to speak with that group of high schoolers that are doing the experiments on mycelium, and I was wondering, okay, so why are we looking to make different bricks? Is there something wrong with our bricks? And then obviously, we can't send, it's going to be remarkably expensive to continue to send payload after payload of actual bricks to Mars, right? But if we can get mycelium, if we can get these mushrooms to grow in some fashion on Mars, then we've got our own growable building products there on Mars. Sorry to interrupt. What are one of the other experiments that we're working on?
No. Thank you. Aloe vera, so what we're doing on that one is just seeing what will be the effects of germinating aloe vera. And so the seeds will come back, and we have 2 teams, iLEAD Lancaster, woohoo, and iLEAD Agua Dulce, woohoo, and both teams will be doing their separate germinating and then comparing their data. So again, this gives us lots of reasons to do charts and data and keep science journals. The stuff that we tend to do kind of perfunctory in science class, like this is how we do science, this is really doing science. And then finally, the last one is SCVI lower, literally, no kidding, 4th and 5th graders.
Yeah.
Seriously, 4th and 5th graders. So we've really dialed this down and made the content accessible. This one is around an algae called Priopia. The kids went up to Santa Barbara and harvested it as a team with the parents, and then they're sending it up, and they're looking at what's it going to do up there, and would this be a possible substance then that later on could be used in colonization or long-term space travel, especially with the idea of oxygenation. That word came out rough. But it just can't come out of my mouth.
Oxygenation.
There you go.
Breathing.
You go.
How's it going to help create oxygen for us to breathe?
Right.
And that is so cool. You mentioned how stale things might have been when we were growing up in science class, because what were we doing? We were creating or recreating some of the really basic level science experiments that had been done a million times before us. But how amazing is it for these kids, these young scientists, to actually be creating and designing experiments, some of which have never really been done before, or at least not on this level and not in space, and actually experimenting to further the cause of the human race, which is so exciting. Now,
and Matt, let me just say really quickly, we're going to run this project virtually, so we've been able to morph all of the content into a 5-day STEM challenge. So every week the kids will be working on a different part of the project. So we're going straight on with this, and we're very excited that any of our schools and any of our online kids, any of our homeschool kids can do this. And honestly, Matt, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind sharing this kind of curriculum out there. I wouldn't be able to have the kids that aren't in our school system. I should probably not say this, but I'll just will. They wouldn't be able to enter our particular competition for the Ride to Space, because that's something that we have to fundraise for. But we can certainly include other people in the community who are interested. And one other thing I'll say is that part of what the kids have to do is they have to have a subject matter expert on their project. Okay. And so we teach them how to connect with folks who really know the stuff so much more detailed than we do, the kids do, the facilitators do. And it's a beautiful way to connect with real deal scientists and real deal folks out there.
That's one of the things that I've always been really impressed with is not only are you connecting our learners with some really amazing projects, but you connect them with some rock stars, some superstars in the different industries in which you work. And I've seen some of these folks who have been really willing to step in and mentor a lot of our kids, and those connections. People talk in the professional world about the importance of connections that you're making between some of our youngest learners and our middle and high school learners is just something that's so invaluable. Now, another project I know that you've been working on, as if Dream Up weren't a full-time gig for you. You were right in the middle of a science accelerator project called Science Accelerator, that might have made the new quarantine thing might have made things a little bit difficult. So what's the status of Science Accelerator? I know you were working with some kids in Israel on that.
Yeah, so Science Accelerators is, again, another one of, we have kind of a suite of space and aviation projects. And this one, again, is around the idea of what are the products or the ideas or innovations that we'll need once we're there, or maybe even on the way. And so kids, again, in teams, think through, well, what are the challenges and what do we have right here? And boy, aren't we all feeling this now? The stuff that we took for granted, I don't have that right now. And so when we think about what it feels like to strip down to almost nothing, what will we need to make when we're there, and how will we deal with the psychological implications and the physical implications and the mental implications of that sort of travel? And we're all experiencing that right now. There was a great video, and I posted on my Facebook, and I'd love to share it. It was the astronaut Chris Hadfield from Canada. He talked about what it was like to be on space station. He did several missions. And then he talked about those same skills and those same mindsets and heart sets, soul sets that you need to have right now. And I thought it was a beautiful, short, inspirational video that I think would be fun to have all your folks have access to.
So I know your kids were working with students in Israel. Are they still able to collaborate? Have they been able to continue to work on these things, or has it fizzled because of the school closures?
You know what? They can still. They absolutely can. And so we're still moving this project forward with the goal of in May, we'll be, God willing, we'll be presenting the kids that have all of their project over the finish line, and they've created slides and an explanation of it. They'll be giving that to scientists at NASA Ames, and our good friend Dr. Cohen is making arrangements for that. Originally, we had hoped to actually have our friends from Israel come over and go up there. We did that last year, and have our kids go up. But I don't know if that's even a possibility now. So at the very bottom level, at the very least, we're still moving forward with the final competition where the kids get to present their idea, and we have beautiful rubrics that the kids already know about. They already know what target they are to hit, and we plan on doing that at the end of May.
That's really cool. Yeah, I don't think that the travel and the personal interaction is going to be possible this year, but it's nice that the kids from the two different countries are still able to interact and work together, and in some cases compete against each other. Kathleen, we do have to take a quick commercial break. Will you come back after the commercial, and we'll get into some things that parents at home can do with their kids?
I'd love to.
Great. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. I'm Matt Watson, and this is SCVI Charter Schools' Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers on your hometown station, KHTS.
The Oasis treatment at the Ivy Day Spa begins with a gentle exfoliation, then rinsed away in warm showers. You're painted with a soothing aloe vera, shea butter, and coconut oil body mask. Then travel through the warm Hydro Cape chambers. The relaxation chamber completes your Oasis body moisturizing treatment with a pH balancing mist and a warm cup of tea. Feel refreshed, hydrated, and relaxed. Pamper yourself. The Ivy Day Spa, Town Center Drive.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
Accidents happen, but rest assured Patterson's Collision Center is here to help. Patterson's is a family-owned and operated collision repair facility providing the Santa Clarita Valley with premium collision repairs. Patterson's prides itself on being the only California-certified green repair shop in all of Santa Clarita. They are insurance claim specialists and even offer payment plans for your deductible. For personalized, friendly service, visit pattersonscollisioncenter.com or call 294-1011 and let Patterson's Collision Center help ease your worries today.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows. This Saturday at 8 p.m., join us as we pray for our valley and first responders. KHTS has teamed up with a number of local churches who'll be offering a half hour of music and prayer. Brought to you by our friends at Burger King, Total Financial Solutions, and American Family Funding. We invite you to sit in your cars, 8 p.m. this Saturday. Tune in to 98.1 FM, AM 1220, or download our free KHTS radio app. Or log on to hometownstation.com and click the Listen Live button.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 on the FM dial and 1220 AM. We are also on Facebook Live. I know there's a few folks out there. We're getting some love on the Facebook Live feed, and we appreciate you tuning in. And that's what we're here for. We're hoping to help provide something for our community, something that you can take and work with your kids on, something that you can enjoy on a weekday morning. I am Matt Watson, and this is SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. We're talking this morning with Kathleen Fredette, Director of STEAM Initiatives for iLEAD Schools, and we talked about some of the amazing things that our kids are doing, sending their experiments to the International Space Station to be conducted under microgravity and some other really cool science stuff. But Kathleen, we want to talk about some cool stuff that our families can do while they're here, while they're under the safer at home restrictions. And I know you've got an incredible mind and heart for all things STEAM, that is science, technology, engineering, art, and math, kind of all pulled together there. Do you have any experiments, Kathleen, or activities that you can suggest for families, remembering that we're talking to parents of kids of all ages? How can we get our kids not only involved in science or STEAM, but deeply engaged? Some exciting, cool stuff. What have you got for them?
All right. Well, let me just start out, Matt, by saying we all have this opportunity right now, right? We can either kind of shrink or we can expand. And it feels like shrinking because we're in our homes, but we have the opportunity to expand like really never before. And with respect to our kids learning, I've heard that some kids are just, they get their things done and then they're kind of, the parents are like, now what do I do? And there's I'm bored, or I don't want to do that. And that's the entry point to something actually to do. So I'm going to jam off some lists and say, don't get nervous about a kid saying I'm bored. They're bored because so often they're doing. And so what we want to get back to is, do you remember when our kids were little, Matt? Do you remember that? Mommy, why is da-da-da-da? And then a couple minutes later, Mommy, why da-da? Remember that? There was always the why. So our natural, do you remember that, Matt?
Yeah, that curiosity, I almost called it curiousness, but I try to remember that I am an English teacher. That curiosity that they have, they wanted to know how everything worked and why things worked a certain way, yeah.
So that's really our default position as humans. We want to poke at our universe and we want to understand why. And I think what happens as we move into school is we get started, and rather than starting with the question, we get kind of fed. Here, you should be learning this. Here, you should be doing this. So unless you're with a teacher or facilitator who's really quite wise, often kids' natural curiosity just starts to dial down. So what I want to challenge parents and kids to do right now is try to get back in touch with natural curiosity. So how are we going to do that? Well, you can look around your garage and start there. So parents, if you have kids that are lost and they don't know what to do, I'm going to challenge you to actually make a list of all the stuff that is around the house. So what am I talking about? Well, do you have any kind of tools to build? Okay, you got something there. Do you have a yard or some place where you can plant? Okay, we have a place there. Do you have something that looks like a kitchen where you could start making stuff? You could either cook or you can do some fun lab type things. We can make stuff in terms of cooking for sure, I want to talk about. And then what can we do also around the realm of what your kid is interested in? So if I'm a parent, I'm writing a list if my kids don't have a starting point. If they have a starting point, like they're a gamer, how about something like we challenge them to make a game and then they're going to play that game possibly remotely with grandma over Zoom. And maybe they're going to be the one that rolls the dice and tells grandma what to do. Or forget about making a game. How about just play games like Yahtzee? Right now I'm doing Yahtzee with my sisters and my mother-in-law because it's her favorite thing. So games are wonderful, but even more, give a kid the opportunity to make their own game and then explain the rules. So that sort of challenge that we want to give them to do something. How about we think about cooking? So I know that, this is an opportunity right now for us to really dive into what are the things that we can make. And then as we're making it, then there's that question. I'm making some batter for something. It's gooey and it's wet. I put it in the oven and it comes out to be this glorious cookie. Well, what's that process? And can we dive into finding out what is happening when I add heat to something? And that gives me a way to go into that. Now, Matt, some parents might go, I don't know why. I don't know why it goes from batter to cookie, and that's okay, because almost anything that you Google is going to come up as a YouTube explanation, and that's the next thing I want to talk about. Am I talking too much, or is this okay?
No, that's terrific, and I just want to underline that point. Parents don't have to know the answers. In fact, if they don't know the answers, they can brag on that and say, I'm an inquiry-based educator, right?
Oh, absolutely. When I taught science and I would say probably 25% of the time, maybe even more, a kid would ask a question of me. Miss Fredette, I remember this one. Why do leaves turn colors? So we were doing a deep dive into all things plants and cells, and I'm like, I don't know. And that moved us into a whole new inquiry. So don't be scared about things like that, for sure.
Yeah, definitely they can embrace it. Now, Kathleen, I know you've also been working on a really cool design challenge for kids. You've been developing, you've taken advantage of this time, which is, we've been encouraging our listeners. It's great. You took advantage of this time to develop a 5-day guided design challenge for kids to engage in. What can you tell us about that? Is it possible to walk us through that on the air? How can parents get their kids involved in design challenges at home?
So design challenges is a fancy way of talking about what engineers do, but it's really any creators do that go through the process of looking at a problem and actually coming to a solution. So when you're cooking, you're doing that. When you're cleaning, you're doing that. Almost anything that you do, you're doing this process. So a design challenge, and if you Google these, up will come thousands of them, design challenges where we say something like, can you use this little box right here to cook a s'more using just the rays of the sun? And so you get a challenge. Can you build this thing that will shoot a marshmallow across the room? Can you build from scratch out of trash a car that uses a balloon that will actually go across the room? Can you create something that will, can you create a zip line using just these items right here? So you don't have to have stuff. You can use stuff in your house. So these design challenges, the reason we went to a 5-day model was because often when kids start something, sometimes, I don't know if as parents, I have 4 sons, they would get that pushback, like, I don't want to do this. I'm not that interested. So what we want to do is maybe give them a video of something that's pretty exciting. I don't feel the need to go create my own design challenges. I have one. I have some. I go out there and I find them. But then I hook videos into it, and then I hook some content into it. So if I'm going to, for example, make a s'more in a box, and I'm going to actually show that I can cook in a box, I want now that kid, that person, I'm going to ask them some questions for them to understand a little bit about radiation and to understand a little bit about maybe the electromagnetic spectrum. Now, how am I going to do that if I don't know that? I'm going to use YouTube, and there are so many science YouTubers out there that create videos that are super fun and short. We don't want an hour. Can't do that, but I can do 7 minutes. So what we've done is put together these design challenges that are around a content, plants, growth, astronomy, the engineering design process, around, we are making one right now around Westward Ho because because that's one of the areas of content that's needed. But it gets kids doing. And then it gets kids asking. Yeah. And then it gets kids doing again. And then we're having fun and we're learning stuff, and they can't wait to say, let me tell you what I learned today.
And those design challenges oftentimes are the best way to learn, and it truly does follow the perfect scientific model. You're reminding me of that scene in Apollo 13 where, you know, the boss of whatever, all this, the engineers at NASA dumps a box of stuff on the table and says, all right, we need to make an air scrubber, an air filter built out of just the stuff that's in this box.
Right.
Go. And they had to do it to save the life of 3 astronauts, but we can do the same thing with our kids. We do kind of like a chopped challenge, right? We give them the materials and say, all right, these are the materials you've got. Now I want you to design this. Now, is there somewhere where these design challenges that you mentioned, are those posted on our website, homeschoolinganswers.com?
As As we make them, they're posting. So absolutely.
Fantastic. And I know that our friends.
And they're 5 days. Yep.
Okay, so 5 days. So I can maybe look into one today, and whether I choose one or I let my kids pick from a couple, 3 different challenges, and we can launch Monday, and that'll take us all the way through some deep science activities for all next week, right?
Yeah, with also the understanding that you have choice, and so we often do a couple different things. Like here, you could make this. We did one around. Can you create this is a challenge that's already out there, but we just hacked it. Can you create a lunar lander? And we did some work around curiosity, and then we asked kids, how long do you think it took to get to Mars? And that conversation is excellent. And then we modeled Orion. The Orion is the next our next ride to space. We're going to move away from Russia. So all of these things there's some choices in there. Like if a younger kid can't do this, then maybe they could do this. If an older kid needs to dial it up a little, here's something that's a little stronger.
It is important to include choice, and we also just posted on our Facebook live feed some of the design challenges that our friends at Dyson Vacuum Cleaners have come up with your kids, so you can take a look at those as well at our Facebook live feed. Yeah, Dyson has been really active during this time. Kathleen, I want to thank you so much for your time. It's always good to talk to you. It's nice of you to come back, and thank you for sharing all these great ideas. You please take care and stay safe. We've got a couple of things that we need to take care of here around the studio, but stick around. When we come back, we've got some practical things that we're going to be talking about, and I want to get some advice from you guys. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson, your hometown station, KHTS.
When you're looking for a midnight snack, sometimes fast food just doesn't cut it. California Bakery and Cafe is open 24/7, so you'll be able to find fresh donuts, danishes, bagels, all-natural fruit juices, gourmet sandwiches, and much more at any hour. With elaborate cakes for any occasion, including weddings, baptisms, anniversaries, corporate events, or any special event. California Bakery and Cafe in Santa Clarita is open 24 hours to satisfy any craving anytime. Call us 255-1254. That's 255-1254.
Consumers Furniture Gallery will temporarily close to the public as a precautionary measure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, as an essential retailer to the community we serve, we're committed to keeping our store available for homeowners and business that depend on us in times of urgent needs. To set up a showroom appointment, contact us at consumersfurniture@live.com. This is the most responsible way we can continue to care for our coworkers and our customers in a manner that is healthy and safe. We appreciate your understanding as we support each other through these uncertain times.
Have you heard about Assistance League Retail Store? For a good time and a great deal and bargains that are an amazing steal, there are friendly volunteers ready to share a smile. So come on in and stay a while. We take donations on gently used goods, and proceeds from our sales stay in the neighborhood. So for a great buy and a special find, come visit our store anytime. Assistance League Resale Store located at 24369 Main Street in downtown Newhall.
Mb2 Raceway, fast, high-performance kart racing at LA County's only indoor electric kart racing facility, and you're the superstar driver. Motocross legend and DEI driver Ricky Carmichael and Team Andretti Green's Brian Herta race in Mb2 when they're not fighting it out for world championships, and so can you. Mb2 Raceway, located between San Fernando and Santa Clarita Valleys, where the 5, the 210, and the 14 freeways meet in Sylmar. It's Mb2 Raceway. Dial 1-866-986-RACE. That's 1-866-986-RACE. Mb2 Raceway, where racers race.
Chiquita Canyon Landfill takes the waste from our homes and local businesses and puts it to good use. With cutting-edge clean energy technology, Chiquita Canyon powers 10,000 homes each year by harnessing the methane gas from the landfill. So, the next time you wheel your trash can to the curb, feel good that your waste is on its way to making green energy at Chiquita Canyon.
Chiquita Canyon Landfill, our partner in sustainable living.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, your host, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I mentioned before the break, I need your tips now. Well, we've been here providing tips, suggestions, and everything from maintaining your sanity and mental health to how to get your kids involved in science design challenges at home and things like that. But I'm on what is the drop deadline, the absolute last day for this haircut, and I need some ideas. Shane, it's funny. I just mentioned mental health, and I'm getting a phone call here from Kaiser Mental Health.
Look at that.
They're probably just reminding me that it's time for my appointment.
Maybe they were going to call in and say, hey, maybe get a bowl and some scissors?
So that's what I'm wondering is I am a little vain, and I don't want to be the bowl and scissors guy. But yeah, this haircut is starting to get out of control. And, a few years back, I did it for a cause. I did it for a purpose, but I did shave my head completely bald. It looked horrible. But it was great. It was easy to take care of, and I saved probably dozens of cents on shampoo over about a month and a half. But I'm wondering, I was thinking about it the other day. Shane, you go with a hat every day, and I think that's a great option that I might be looking at.
I was just about to. You beat me to it, Matt. I was going to say, how's your hat collection look?
I've actually got a couple of decent hats. I may have to pull a couple of those out there. I've got a really cool floppy Puerto Rican sun hat, and
nice.
And I've got some cool baseball caps and things like that. But then I'm also thinking, I'm not going on any business meetings. I'm not going out on social events or anything like that. Talked about shaving my head. My brother likes to tease me, and he keeps warning me. He's been warning me since I was 15 years old that I'm going bald. As much as he wants me to go bald, it just doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I do have a high forehead. I've always had a high forehead. My brother Tony likes to call it my five head. And in fact, for years now on Ash Wednesday, the priest has had to use a step stool to get up there and get the ash on my forehead. But these locks just keep on growing back. And Tony, I hate to tell you, Shane's got the fan on in here in the studio, and these locks are flowing around like Fabio on a book cover. So what should I do with my hair? Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of social events coming up. So do I take it all off? Do I pull it? I'm worried about pulling it up in a man bun because with a body like mine, Shane, I might be confused for a sumo wrestler.
If you haven't gone bald yet, I say keep it. Keep it as long as possible.
Let it flow, huh?
Yeah, why not?
All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. So maybe tune in next week on Facebook Live and see what's going on with my hair, and you can just follow the reoccurring saga of what's going on with Matt's hair. Because I know some folks out there are still offering to come over and cut hair in your driveway and things like that. I just think out of the abundance of caution, you don't know where your hairdresser's been, who else's hair they've been cutting, and so I think I'm just going to stay away. I might just go with you, Shane, and let it just keep rolling. Now, I know we do have some important things that we need to check in on, some local and national news stories and the latest updates, so please stick around and listen in. Next hour, we're going to be talking to our city librarian, as well as licensed marriage and family therapist, Christina DeBray. You're listening to SCBI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley. This is Homeschooling Answers with your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
I never thought I'd be looking for an assisted living home until Mom got sick. Suddenly, there were questions that I didn't have answers to, and only limited time to find the answers. What facility could take the best care of Mom? Then my mother's social worker gave me a brochure for assisted living locators and informed me that assisted living locators is recommended by more healthcare professionals than any other agency.
Call Shannon at Assisted Living Locators, 544-1004. That's 544-1004.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Dutton Plumbing, it's Eric.
Son, it's Mother.
Mom, where have you been? I left 3 voicemail messages. We're supposed to be working on the Dutton Plumbing recruitment campaign.
Who answers their phone anymore? I text like everybody else, son.
You text?
Yes. Ernesto, my exotic dance class teacher, taught me how to text, among other things.
Wait, what? Exotic dance class? Mom? Anyway, we need more plumbers and techs to apply for work. You know, thanks to our $73 drain clearing, we just keep growing. We offer great pay, ongoing training, health insurance, 401k, even a batting cage for fun. We got to get the word out.
Well, why don't you let people apply for work by text? Make it fast and easy, son. Just like that college girl you used to date.
Mom?
Plumbers and techs. Now it's easy to apply for work at Dutton Plumbing. Just text the word MOM to 25000. You'll be asked some questions, and in less than 2 minutes, you'll be done. Again, text MOM to 25,000.
DuttonPlumbing.com.
KHTS AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 10 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Special report coronavirus update. 799 people died from coronavirus in New York in the last day, making it the deadliest so far. But a sign that social distancing is working. The number of new hospitalizations is declining. Governor Andrew Cuomo says it's too soon to let up.
Testing is going to be the bridge to the new economy and getting to work and restarting, right? We're not going to go from red to green. We're going to go from red to yellow.
The chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, expects a robust second half of the year if the virus can be controlled.
We would expect there to be a fairly quick rebound as people do go back to work and start resuming normal levels of economic activity. I think most people expect that to happen in the second half of this year.
The Fed today unveiled a more than $2 trillion program to help states and businesses that have not been able to benefit from earlier relief plans, especially mid-sized businesses. I'm Mike Moss. 17 million Americans have lost work in the last 3 weeks. Correspondent Christine Romans reports unemployment offices can't keep up with the demand.
The state unemployment offices tell us that eventually you will get your jobless benefits and it will be retroactive to the day that you lost your job. But it's been very frustrating for millions and millions of Americans because simply the system wasn't built for this much job loss.
A stall in the Senate over how far-reaching the next virus relief bill from Washington should be. All agree on helping small business. Democrats want more for states and hospitals, too. The UK's foreign minister, who's filling in for coronavirus-stricken Prime Minister Johnson, today urged his nation to remain vigilant in efforts to slow the spread of the disease. He said the virus must not be given a second chance to kill more people. Prime Minister Johnson is reported to be improving in intensive care. On Wall Street, the Dow up 545. That's more than 2% at this hour. I'm Mike Moss.
This is Joanne Jenkins, CEO of AARP. The coronavirus continues to affect us all, and we are here actively supporting you and your community. Every day, we're providing trusted information from top health experts, sharing tools to help protect families from fraud, and creating resources to support family caregivers everywhere. As always, you can count on AARP to advocate for you and your family. Join us and stay connected at aarp.org/coronavirus.
When you go to the mechanic in here...
Pass me the torque. Nope, let me have the flamethrower.
That sounds wrong. You know what else sounds wrong? When you hear about the interest you're earning on your savings with the largest banks. But with the Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account, you could earn much more interest. And hear this. Open a Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account in minutes at marcus.com. You can money.
Comparison made to the 3 largest U.S. banks measured by total deposits. Rates as of February 4th, 2020 and may vary by state. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
Town Cleaners on Soledad is offering free dry cleaning for all first responders and medical personnel. Free pickup and delivery is also available. Call Mo at 250-1542. 250-1542. Town Cleaners on Soledad.
Your building sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new, larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you with a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new, bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
Olive Terrace Bar and Grill is the hottest new Mediterranean fusion restaurant in Santa Clarita with unique delicacies like seafood right off the boat, mouth-watering prime steaks, artesian sandwiches, delicious pastas, and tasty kebabs. Unwind on their cozy outdoor patio at their weekend champagne brunch, full menu, and weekly specials at oliveterracebarandgrill.com. Check out their full bar and happy hour daily specials in Valencia on Copper Hill and Newhall Ranch Road by LA Fitness. Olive Terrace Bar and Grill, delicious food seasoned with love.
This Saturday at 8 p.m., join us as we pray for our valley and first responders. KHTS has teamed up with a number of local churches who'll be offering a half hour of music and prayer. Brought to you by our friends at Burger King, Total Financial Solutions, and American Family Funding. We invite you to sit in your cars, 8 p.m. this Saturday. Tune in to 98.1 FM, AM 1220, or download our free KHTS radio app. Or log on to hometownstation.com and click the Listen Live button.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
California Credit Union, the only credit union in Santa Clarita focused on our educational community. California Credit Union offers low rates on loans for personal and business services, along with financial services for teachers, students, staff, and families. Free checking and very low new and used auto loan rates.
California Credit Union, your personal credit union, located in the River Oak Shopping Center next to Target.
Visit us and open an account today. Insured by NCUA, an agency of the federal government.
City Councilman Bob Keller here. Keep it tuned to 98.1 FM and AM 1220 KHTS, hometownstation.com, for the latest information regarding COVID-19. KHTS will have both national and local news and information during this unprecedented time. For more, go to the KHTS website or the KHTS Facebook page. KHTS is also available online in the free app for iPhone and Android. Continue to social distance, only going out if it's absolutely necessary, and continue to check on friends and family. With your help, we will flatten the curve and come through this stronger than ever. Thank you.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. We are also streaming live on Facebook Live, so get on Facebook and search for us at KHTS Radio. Click on the banner there and you can follow along. Last hour, we had a tremendous amount of resources for you that we were posting there in the comments, so go ahead and click on there. We appreciate you following along, and hopefully we're providing some valuable resources for you. If we're not, and you need something else, something a little bit different, why don't you let us know? And why don't you just send us an email at homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org, homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org, and we'll try to get whatever it is that you need out there for you as quickly as possible. Now, a quick update. I was just informed, I asked for your input, and my producer, Sarah McDaniels, sent in her input. She says no hats because then you can't see me on Facebook Live. So, we maybe we may have to start experimenting a little bit, Shane, with the hairdo here. We'll see. Anyways, this is Matt Watson, your host. You're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. And our next guest today, I just met over the commercial break, but she's wonderful to talk to. We've already gone deep on family reunions and great American authors. Shannon Vonnegut has over 20 years of experience in public libraries. She's a graduate of Little Rock High School. She received her AA from Antelope Valley College and her BA in history from Cal State San Bernardino. And those of you that listen know that some of the most handsome and intelligent people in this world are history graduates. She also later received her master's in library and information sciences from San Jose State University. She began her career with the County of Los Angeles Public Library in 1996. She joined the library in 2001 as a teen and digital services librarian and was later promoted to digital services manager in 2015. And now, as our city librarian, Shannon is responsible for overseeing staff, programming, and operations and services for the Santa Clarita Public Library, and that's at the various locations in and around the Santa Clarita Valley. This role also involves being a visionary and inspirational leader in establishing and instilling a positive organizational culture at all of the libraries to provide the best public library services for the Santa Clarita community. Good morning, Shannon. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming in. First of all, I want to give a little bit of background for those of our listeners that don't know. A few years back, we had a little bit of a shift in the organizational structure of the library system here in Santa Clarita, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. So we've had a couple of shifts over the last few years.
So can you tell us about where we were, back when I was a kid to where we're at now?
Of course. So the three libraries in Santa Clarita were county libraries up until 2011 when the city made the decision to take them over. So we separated from the county, and that's when I came from the county over to the city of Santa Clarita. And then we operated under a contract for many years, and then last June, we're coming up on 2 years ago, we transitioned over to being a fully city-run library. So we're all city staff now and fully under the control of the city. So we're happy to be where we're at now.
Absolutely. And so now it's our city that directly controls our libraries here in town. And so now what benefit does that provide as far as a user interface? So me as a consumer of the library and the resources, what significance does that have? Does it make things more accessible and easier for us, or is it more on the administrative side, makes it easier for you guys to run?
I would say hopefully for the public, you guys would not have noticed a change as we made the last transition 2 years ago. It was definitely more on the administrative side and the staffing side of it, but the service that we provided should have stayed the same or improved over that time. Since we have become directly city-run, we've really increased what we've purchased, trying to be more responsive to the requests of the community, so what people are looking for, make sure we get the books on the shelves as quickly as possible so that we're just really meeting the needs of the community. We've also increased programming and really just tried to be a part of the community and integrate more with our outreach and some of our services that we provide.
Well, that is fantastic. So now I remember listening to the mayor and city council a few years back as they made the tough decision to start closing the different buildings and things like that around town. And so currently the brick and mortar buildings of the library are closed. So is that the same for services, or is the Santa Clarita Public Library still providing services even though we can't go into the buildings?
We are definitely still providing services. So we did close with the rest of the city facilities. We are practicing the safer at home. So we did also close our book drops. So we're asking everybody if they have materials just to hold on to them. We've extended everybody's due dates. We've renewed everything. So nobody needs to return their materials right now. We'd rather people just stay home and stay safe and not worry about bringing their books back. However, we do have an entire what we call the e-library available online, which has downloadable ebooks, downloadable audiobooks. We have streaming movies that you can watch. We have a music service where you can get 5 free downloads of music a week, and those are yours to keep once you get them.
Oh, wow.
We have the Flipster service, which is a digital magazine. So if you're missing your People, your Entertainment Weekly, you can just go online, download the magazine, and view it. We have live homework help, so if you are, like so many parents, struggling with your children at home and trying to keep up with their homework or helping them with their schoolwork, we have that service available from 1 to 10 during the day, so they can go online and interact with a live tutor and get free help with their homework, which to me is invaluable service for the population right now.
Oh, yes.
We're also doing a lot of blog posts, so if you're looking for activities for your kids, for your teens, we're doing crafts that you can do with simple things you usually would find at home, and activities that you can do with your kids if you're just looking for something to not pull your hair out and keep them busy right now. We're trying to provide as much information on those things as possible.
Wow, that's fantastic. And so I want to back up just a little bit. You said from 1 to 10 p.m. you've got live tutors providing homework help online?
Yes.
That is fantastic. So, yeah, you mentioned our families are at home, and then that's the whole reason that we're here every day. Our families are at home with their kids, and so so you can kind of pawn them off on the librarian, and you know, some of our families might be saying, yeah, my kid's into algebra and I just don't get it. So maybe our families can help tap into tutors for those reasons. And we're also very grateful for that grace that we don't have to go drop off that book that we may have at home, although you've now got no excuse not to finish it, right?
Yeah.
And then we can also be downloading ebooks and magazines. That is great. I had no idea how many services you guys still provided virtually or online. So how do families get connected to those services?
The easiest way is just to go to our website. We have a link on our website called eLibrary. And if you go there, there's articles and databases. We, of course, have all of the research. Most of the reference books that you would normally find on the shelves in the library are digital now, so that shift happened several years ago. If you're looking for reference books and you need to do some research for a paper or looking for an animal, we have a lot of those animal encyclopedia type books. All of that is online. It's actually a scanned book, so for the people that say, oh no, I need a book, I can't use a website, it's not a website, it's just a scanned book. And it even has accessibility features so that the books can be read to you if you are visually impaired or you need to make the print larger. Some of our resources have the dyslexic font so that the font changes so that it's easier for people to read.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah, it's a wide variety of resources there.
And from what I understand, Shannon, you've also you're expanding your social media presence. What have you got going on for residents via social media?
So to keep our programming up, we pretty quickly after the building shut down started looking at how we could still provide that programming aspect. Typically, each branch, just for story times, we would provide 2 a day, Monday through Thursday, and then provide dance party on Friday. And we did a lot of programming in the library that was really popular for parents to bring their kids in and get that time to interact with the librarian, to read books, to listen to stories, to sing songs. So we transitioned to that to a Facebook streaming programming. So now, Monday through Thursday, we have story time at 9:30. On Facebook. So we're streaming story time from Miss Liza's home. She does that story time and does it in her living room. And then we also have a bilingual story time Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m.
Oh,
we also, many of our kids know about feeding the worms at the library. So the library has a composting bin with live worms in it, and every week kids could come in and feed the worms and hold the worms. We've moved that online. So every Tuesday at 4:30, we grind up the food, go check on the worms, see how they're doing. Just this week, some of the peppers that we had ground up the week before had started to sprout in our bin, so we looked at that too. It's a really fun, interactive way that kids can be at home and still see the librarians they recognize, the faces they know, and get to participate along a little bit.
I did actually see that segment, Feeding the Worms, and I'm not a big fan of worms, but this post was fascinating. Yeah, as the mulch was kind of ground up, and she took it there into the garage, and she's got a bucket of thousands and thousands of worms there, doesn't she?
And very happy worms. Our worms are really, really healthy.
Yeah, they stay well fed, and that's you said Tuesdays at 4:30.
Yes.
I really want to encourage our parents, get your kids on there Tuesday at 4:30, and that's on which platform is that? Facebook? Did you say?
Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, get on Facebook and look for the Santa Clarita Public Library Tuesday at 4:30, and watch them feed the worms. It's fantastic. And then once we are able to get back into the building, get your kids in there and get their hands plunged in there with the worms. It's really, really cool. So I know that you mentioned it a little bit before, but I want to make sure that our families know how to access that online or digital library to take advantage of all those resources. Can you share with us one more time? Do you have a website that you can give us?
We do have a website. It's SantaClaritaLibrary.com, and then if you click on eLibrary, that will take you to all of those resources. If you're just looking for the downloadable ebooks and audiobooks, we use a platform called Overdrive. And they have a really simple app that's called Libby. So if you just go to your app store, search for Libby, you can download it, put your card in, or we have an instant digital card if you don't have a card, to use that resource where you can get books right away. So you can either listen to or read the most popular books, and our librarians are actively working to make sure we're buying all the new titles, and if there's any book you want that you can't find, you let us know, and we'll work to get that for you as well.
And so one more time, if our listeners are thinking, gosh, that sounds great, I didn't realize I could get magazines online, books online, download music for free, but I don't have a card. They don't necessarily need a card. They can get that instant card online and start downloading and reading right away, huh?
That will give them access, yes, to those materials. If people want to get a card and are realizing now that, I'd never got a library card, and now I'd like to get all these resources that are available, we are issuing cards if you email us at libraryinfo@santa-clarita.com or use the contact us on our website. We will set you up with a library card and then mail it to your house, so we can get people actual physical cards as well.
Oh, okay. So we can get the digital one right away, but then we can get an actual card if we email?
Yes.
One more time, could you give us the email address?
It's libraryinfo@santa-clarita.com.
Santa-clarita.com. Fantastic.
Yeah, and our goal is just to get as many people access to the resources as possible, so I highly encourage anyone who's interested to reach out to us, and we'll get them set up.
Fantastic. Now, lastly, Shannon, once you and your team are able to get back into your buildings, what's next for the Santa Clarita Public Library? Do you have any plans for the future, any long-term goals? I know we've got 3 branches currently. Are there plans to expand or add any new wings or any new and exciting plans coming up?
I think it's right now probably shifting, just because we're looking at how we're going to adapt to the new, whatever the new guidance is for when we do open. So it's social distancing, physical distancing, whatever parameters the county outlines for us for our facilities within LA County, we'll definitely follow those, whatever guidelines the city has for operations. So our focus right now has shifted really more short term to make sure we can do that. Long term, it is still on the city's strategic goals to open a library eventually. Given all the changes recently, that might be pushed out a little bit more, but I think someday, hopefully, we'll see a 4th branch in Santa Clarita.
Oh, terrific. Do you guys have an area or location that you're looking at for that, or just looking to continually expand the services?
Right now, we don't have a location. It's still in the early stages. We're still planning where it would best fit in the community and where we could best provide the service for the community.
Okay.
So we're working on it. It's early stages of development.
Well, the library has always been a central hub of the community, and now that our community has gone virtual, we really appreciate you and your team doing the same. We talk a lot about on the show how families and schools and other organizations have had to scramble and make sure that we can still provide our services virtually, and we're so glad and so thankful, Shannon, that you and your team have done the same and made sure that all these amazing resources that the Santa Clarita Public Library has always provided for us are still available. So again, I want to encourage our listeners to tune in on Facebook on Tuesdays at 4:30 to watch them feed the worms and go to story time and gosh, Mom, Dad, I know you're just licking your chops and maybe looking at feeding your kids to one of the amazing tutors that Shannon's got online is it Monday through Friday, 1 to 10 p.m.?
Yes.
Fantastic. Shannon, these are all great resources. I really want to thank you for joining us this morning. We appreciate everything that you and your team do. Please stay safe. We look forward to seeing you once we can get the libraries back open again, and we've got to get some commercials in here, but please stay tuned. When we come back, we'll be talking habit number 7, and later we'll be checking in with our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Christina DeBray. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
At iLEAD Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individual-based curriculum that values exploration, cooperation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 7th and adding 8th grade in 2020. Your young learner will be immersed in a unique environment where possibility and self-discovery are at the core of every experience. The Agua Dulce campus features beautiful indoor and outdoor spaces for hands-on inspiration, including a robotics lab, a garden bed, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. iLEAD Agua Dulce is conveniently located on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, just off the 14 freeway. Check out our homeschool options too. To schedule a campus tour or learn more about our programs, visit iLEADAguadulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLEAD Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Santa Clarita Valley residents now have greater access to the excellent physicians and high-quality medical services for which Providence Holy Cross is known. Providence Holy Cross Health Center in Santa Clarita features state-of-the-art cancer and imaging technologies, as well as board-certified physicians in a variety of medical specialties. Quality and compassion from a healthcare provider you can depend on. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING or visit us at providence.org.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row, and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
At the Burrito Factory, their motto has always been to serve quality food with fast, friendly service. But did I mention the taste? When it comes to authentic taste and huge mouth-watering burritos, the Burrito Factory is second to none. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or a catered event, Burrito Factory has the taste of Mexico to satisfy your craving. Burrito Factory on Soledad Canyon Road next to Chi-Chi's Pizza in Canyon Country. Stop in or call ahead 288-0222.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson. You're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. You know, last week we started our study on Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I encouraged you to pick up the book. I'm wondering now, I probably should have asked Shannon, although, you know, I didn't want to put her on the spot. I'm guessing you can probably download a version of that from the Santa Clarita Public Library, but I encouraged you to get a copy of that book. It's a really transformational book, published in 1989. It's since been translated into 40 different languages, has sold over 30 million copies worldwide. It's an incredible book and helping us make that transition from good to great that we talked about yesterday. Stephen Covey studied history's most successful people, and he identified the habits that they had in common, not just to highlight these people and how amazing they were, but so that we could emulate them, right? If we can look at those habits that those most successful people in life had in common, then we can study it, we can analyze it, we can make ourselves more successful and also transfer that learning to our kids and help build those habits in them early on, because now is the time when they're young to build those strong and healthy habits, right? Rather than breaking bad habits when they're older. And so we've been studying the different habits as we've gone on, and we're drawing toward the end here. We're on habit 7 today. Let's sum up briefly what we've discussed because they are really important. Habit number 1, we talked about being proactive, planning your time, taking responsibility, taking initiative. That key understanding that we developed is that you are in charge of you. Life doesn't happen to you. Don't let it. Don't be a victim. Don't make excuses. Take control of things and take control of the things that you can, and don't stress about the things that you can't. And we've talked about that in numerous different ways on the show the last couple of weeks about how we can take control of certain things even when other things seem to be out of our control. Habit number 2 was begin with the end in mind. It's important to have a vision, not just wander through. I'm reminded of that Cheshire cat who asked Alice in Alice in Wonderland, when she asked him actually, what path should I take? And he says, well, where do you want to go? She said, well, I don't really care where I go. And he said, well, then it doesn't matter what path you take, does it? Well, our path matters, and so we need to know where we're going. We need to have that vision, right? Have that vision for what you're going to do this weekend, right? What you're going to get accomplished, and envision what that cleaned out closet is going to look like and what benefit it has, or develop a vision for this year, this life, and set goals and then chart your path toward that. Because if you don't have a vision, then it's just a wish, and a wish is a dream without wings, right? Habit number 3 is putting first things first. Don't procrastinate. Prioritize your tasks and dedicate where you spend your time on those things that are top priority. Again, we looked at Eisenhower's matrix of importance versus urgency, a very simple matrix, but it can help keep us focused. Stay in quadrant number 3, all right? And then, so those first 3 habits, be proactive, begin with the end in mind, and put first things first. Those are all about independence, right? That's all about me working on me, building a better self, right? The next 4 habits are more interdependence. Habit number 4 is think win-win. That's the creative, thoughtful process of working to find solutions that benefit both sides of a situation. Not so much compromise, but a true win-win. So be creative in developing that habit. Habit number 5 is seeking first to understand, then to be understood. Listening first. Not listening to reply, but listening to truly understand and empathize with the person that you're talking to. and then you can share. And then habit number 6 is a logical next step to build on top of seeking first to understand. Habit number 6 is synergize, the concept that 1 + 1 can equal 3 or 10 or 10,000. Our work improves exponentially as we collaborate with others. Again, the better listeners we are, the higher level of synergy we can get to. The idea of synergy is that good is the enemy of great. Good enough is not good enough, right? We want to get to great, and the easiest way to make things great is to get other people involved. So those 3 habits, habit 4, 5, and 6, think win-win, seek first to understand, then to be understood, and synergize, those have more to do with interdependence, how we work with others, okay? And that's how we improve what we do. And that skill, interdependence, and how we work with others can really make us much more marketable. You'd be shocked at how many companies out there are looking for people that can truly do that, work well with others, okay? The next habit that we're going to look at is habit number 7, sharpen the saw. This one doesn't have so much to do with independence or interdependence. This has to do with continuous growth. Now, around the office, when I talk about sharpening the saw, oftentimes my colleagues will think about, taking a nap, going home and just turning off. And, that can be an important part of sharpening the saw, but that's not all. Successful people balance and renew their resources. Balance is so incredibly important in life. Oftentimes we think about, when we talk about those most successful people, we think about workaholics, people who are constantly on the go and they sacrifice their family, they sacrifice their personal life to be more successful professionally. But no, we're not talking about just professional success. We're talking about success in every area in your life, in all aspects. So those most successful people know that balance is the key to renewing their resources, their energy, their health, to create a sustainable, long-term, effective lifestyle. And if you've ever done something that I did a few years back, which I regret, you burn that midnight oil constantly and you're working all the time, you know that you can get burned out. It's not a sustainable way to live your life. And eventually, you think you're going to get ahead professionally by work all the time, but then eventually you actually become less useful to even your work. You've got to maintain balance. You've got to renew your resources. So habit 7 emphasizes the balance between 4 key areas in our life. First, physical renewal through exercise. How do you get your exercise? Is it you're more into weights or doing cardio? I know we love to talk to our mayor. We talk to him every Tuesday, and he likes to get out on the trails and run. So how do you get your exercise? Make sure that you're renewing your body through physical exercise. In the same way, we also need to renew our minds. Mental renewal comes through personal growth, such as reading, studying, and other development, because especially today in 2020, if you're not constantly staying on top of the new innovations and changes in whatever industry you're in and whatever your areas of interest are, you're falling way behind. I read an article in the USA Today that said back in 1900, the amount of information in the world doubled every 2 years. And when this article was published, it was now up to every 40 days. It had gone from every 2 years, the amount of information in the world doubling in 2 years, to every 40 days, the amount of information in the world was doubling. And that article was written back in 2005. So think about how fast things are moving today. You've got to stay on top of your game. You've got to continue to read, to study, to develop yourself personally and professionally. So mental renewal is also very important. And thirdly, spiritual renewal. Now, Covey advocated for certain aspects of spiritual renewal through a combination of several different things. If you're a religious person, that works terrific, and you can continue to strengthen your spirit through prayer and meditation. But I know a lot of people in our community do so through things like yoga or service through to society. You know, that's something that a lot of people that I enjoy spending time with really renew their spirit through service to their community and working toward the greater good in and around our city, and that is so important as well. And then that fourth area is we come back to work. You know, successful people work hard, but they don't work themselves to death. They know that they need to keep that balance. They strive for a sustainable lifestyle that affords them the time to recuperate, recharge, and be effective in the long term. In fact, when you talk to those folks that are most successful professionally, they'll tell you the day starts with a good run or a good lift or some time spent in yoga or meditation. They're constantly renewing themselves physically, mentally, spiritually, so that they can be at the top of their game professionally. You know, Covey explains that upward spiral model. Through our conscience, along with meaningful and consistent progress, the spiral will result in growth and change and constant improvement. In essence, one is always attempting to integrate and master the principles outlined in the 7 habits at progressively higher levels at each iteration. Subsequent development on any habit will then render a different experience, and you'll learn the principles with a deeper understanding. So as you continue to climb and spiral upward, you'll learn at a deeper level what it means to put first things first, or to be proactive, or to think win-win, and it's just constantly upping your game to that higher level of consciousness. And again, every area of your life, you'll learn those principles with a deeper understanding. That upward spiral model consists of 3 parts: learn, commit, do. Okay? So stay out in front of things, continue to learn, continue to grow. And when you learn new things, then you make commitments to yourself, right? You tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Make those commitments and then follow through with them, okay? Don't make empty commitments, not to yourself, not to other people. So learn, commit, do. According to Covey, one must increasingly be educating the conscience in order to grow and develop on that upward spiral. The idea of renewal by education will propel one along the path of personal freedom, security, wisdom, and power. So what about you? How are you sharpening your saw? How do you renew yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, personally? I want to just encourage you, and if you'd like to answer and you want to get on our Facebook feed, just let us know. What do you do physically? How do you renew yourself physically? How do you stay physically strong? What about mentally? How do you stay mentally strong? You know, one of the things I like to do, I still love reading the newspaper. I love on a Sunday morning going over to Starbucks, grabbing a cup of coffee and a copy of the newspaper and just pouring through. I love spending the time to read cover to cover that newspaper. What about you? What do you do to renew yourself mentally? How are you continually strengthening your mind? And what about your spirit? How are you feeding your spirit? What do you do to stay on top of your spiritual game? Is it through community service? Is it through mindful meditation? Is it through the work and the connection that you have at your personal house of worship? And what about professionally? How do you continue to up your game professionally? I know it's all about feeding ourselves, and oftentimes, especially nowadays, when we talk about feeding ourselves, it can be a delicate topic. I do want to remind you that there are plenty of people out there that have got your back. We are a community of service, aren't we, Santa Clarita? And in order to serve your needs, we've got folks out there. If you're a little bit food insecure, our schools have really stepped up for our kids. So if you've got children from newborn children all the way up to the age of 18, you can head out to any number of schools in our area. Now, it's not all of them, so check your local district website. I know our schools are handing out lunches, and now they're also handing out breakfast for the following day. You can also get lunch and breakfast for today at any SCVI and iLEAD school from 9 to 11 a.m. So make sure you have your kids in the car with you, because we've got as many lunches and breakfast for you as you've got kids. And we keep our social distance. distance. It's a drive-up model at all of our school locations. At SCVI and iLEAD schools, it's from 9 to 11 a.m. At iLEAD Agua Dulce, though, they do it a little bit later, 10 to noon. And again, if you're not that close to any of our iLEAD locations, check your local district website to see where they're handing out breakfast and lunches. It's not at all of the local schools, but there's a good number, a good dozen, maybe 15 schools in and around our valley that are handing out breakfast and lunches to make sure that your kids have what they need. And what about groceries? How are you doing on groceries? If you need something, you need a little help during this time. Maybe your hours have been cut. Maybe you've been dealing with a more long-term issue. Head on out to Santa Clarita Grocery. Do call them ahead of time. You need to make sure that you register, just like you make reservations at a restaurant. They need to know that you're coming. But call Santa Clarita Grocery and let them know you're coming, and then you can stop by with your list. They will actually do the shopping for you, so you don't have to worry about going into the store, and they'll bring those bags right out to your car for you. Santa Clarita Grocery's got your back for the rest of your family. And the Senior Center, for our seniors in the community, they're still providing all of the food services that they normally do. Now, unfortunately, you can't go into the dining hall at Bella Vita anymore, but you can drive up to the location there, and you can pick up their meals. They're still handing out meals, again, on a drive-through basis. If you're not able to get to them, they will come to you. They've still got their Meals on Wheels program delivering, and we're so grateful for that valuable service that the Santa Clarita Senior Center provides. They've got Meals on Wheels. They'll bring it out to your house and drop off a nice hot meal for you, and they've got a ton of other services. So if food is not the service that you need, but you need help with something else, give the Senior Center a call, and they've got just tons of ideas and different services that they can get you connected with. You can call the Senior Center at 661-259-9440. Let me try that again. 661-259-9444. 661-259-9444 is the number for the Senior Center. They'll get you connected to all different kinds of grocery stores. I know our all kinds of services. I know our grocery stores have special hours for seniors as well, and I know that's very helpful, so seniors are able to get in and do their shopping on their own and maintain social distance from the rest of us. There's also lots of folks out there that are ready to help others, people just helping each other in so many different ways, and we're so appreciative of it. We've talked about it before. If you need help, definitely reach out. Call the radio station here if you need help. I know KHTS has got a lot of community resources. Get on our website at KHTS. It's hometownstation.com. And I would also encourage you, what are you doing to become a helper? Even if you're one of the folks that needs help during this time, you can still help others. What are you doing to lift up others and meet their needs? You may be thinking, well, Matt, I'm the one that needs more help right now, and I don't know what I can do to help other people. Well, all of us are both. We all need each other, but we can also stretch our hands out to help each other. Remember, we're synergizing, right? Connect with someone who's alone. So maybe you make a phone call to someone who you know lives alone, or leave a note for your neighbor. Find something inspiring to post on social media. Find a way to help your world. Find a way to help someone else out. So there are a lot of helpers out there that are looking to help you, but I also want to encourage you to be one of those helpers, all right? Be creative about it, and then let us know. Post on the Facebook page or send us an email at homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org. Let us know what you're doing to help those in and around your community. And with that, we do have to take our last commercial break. I want you to please stay tuned. We've got our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist and trauma specialist on the line, Christina DeBray. She's going to be joining us next. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
It's allergy season again. You've tried it all, yet your sinuses continue to be a problem. Try something different, something holistic, something that will really work. Acupuncture. Kathleen Keneally is Santa Clarita's acupuncture and innate specialist. She's been treating many of your neighbors and their children for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and pain. Find out how acupuncture can improve the quality of your life. Call Kathleen Keneally for a free phone consultation. 252-4100. 252-4100. Acupuncture. It really works.
It's never been so easy to have a great night out. Whether it's a date night or girls' night out, experience Pinot's Palette in Valencia or Encino. Order your favorite drink from the bar and paint your very own masterpiece. No art experience needed. Local artists make it easy for you. So you can paint, sip, and listen to great music while creating a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Fun, relaxing, and memorable. Pinot's Palette. To book your party, go to pinotspalette.com. That's pinotspalette.com.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
If you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, you need an expert. Hi, I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty. I've helped hundreds of Santa Clarita residents save their homes completely for free. I've got just over 20 years experience and a loan modification success rate of over 80%. I can negotiate better terms with your bank, and I can save your home from foreclosure. And again, we do this completely for free. So if you're in any danger, please call me today at 661-714-1400. That number again is 661-714-1400. I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty, and I'll be happy to help you save your home for free.
Did you know you can attend College of the Canyons tuition free? Yeah. Canyons Promise provides incoming first-time college students the opportunity to attend College of the Canyons tuition-free for their first 2 years. And you don't even have to be a recent high school graduate to take advantage of the opportunity. Anyone who's a first-time college student and meets the Canyons Promise criteria can sign up. Visit canyons.edu/promise for full details and to get signed up before June 15th. canyons.edu/promise.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. We are joined now by our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Christina DeBray. She's got a remarkable story of resilience and determination. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but it may be time sometime here in the near future to take another deep dive on Christina's personal story and her journey. It is incredibly inspiring and tells a story of grit and resilience, and the things that Christina has lived through pretty much her entire time here on this planet is something that she draws on and helps work with her clients, and she's sharing that brilliance and those amazing characteristics that she's developed with us here on the air just about every day. She's a trauma and resilience specialist, which is such an important resource during this time, and she's a graduate of Cal State Northridge and Pepperdine University. She is a matador and a wave who practices here in Valencia. She's studied extensively, including trauma, phobias, performance enhancement, suicide prevention, grief, child and adolescent interventions. She's got more than 18 years of speaking experience with medical professionals, patients, schools, parents, business professionals. Christina, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. It's good to have you back. So yesterday you shared with us, Christina, about reframing, and I think that was a very important idea, and it's something that a lot of folks have been talking about, for example, don't see yourselves as shut in and limited, but see the situation as the opportunity you've been provided. And I know you wanted to go a little bit deeper and look at the idea of changing our perspective a little bit deeper and maybe from a different angle. What have you got for us today?
So part of where I developed this is, living with cystic fibrosis and living in the hospital. I was always told, that I was going to die and that the worst outcome was possible. And I think that right now, learning from that experience with everything going on in the world is that we just never really know what's possible. We never really know. And we have an opportunity. Every situation, every problem has a potential silver lining. And even though we feel a loss of power and control, we do have a choice of how we want to capitalize or harvest that silver lining. So this is something that I used to do for myself, and it's a blend of two therapeutic techniques. And not everyone is going to be able to do this based on your mental health, but if you're able to, it's a really wonderful way to capture the silver lining. So first of all, I want you to picture your life in the future, right? And imagine waving a magical wand that the best outcome happens and your life is as you want it, okay? So that could be 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, okay?
Okay.
And imagine what you would look like. Imagine how it would feel to be you. Imagine what the positive beliefs would be. I am strong, I am capable, I am intelligent, I've made it. I've overcome COVID, I've overcome other things, I've accomplished my dreams, okay? And then imagine that future version of you was able to send letters back in time to the you that's now. And the you that's now could also send letters to that future self. And so this is a really cool way. This is sort of a modified technique from Gestalt therapy where you can write letters back and forth to the future you and the you now. And this is a really great way to tie in your process things and build adaptive memory networks, enhance adaptive memory networks, but also process maladaptive memory networks. And it helps you begin to write the story. And it's like making a PowerPoint presentation, but leaving some slides blank if you don't know the answer. And if you don't and can't think of certain things to say, that's okay. You just leave it blank and write about what you do know. And it becomes like a Goosebumps choose your own ending.
Okay. So I'm processing this as you're talking, and I do want to ask you: if you're using a microphone, Christina, we're getting a little bit of interference from your audio. So I'm not sure if maybe your microphone's brushing up against your blouse or your shirt there. But so I'm thinking myself. I decided to go a little bit longer term. I decided to go 10 years, and I'm thinking about that letter I might write myself, and I might thank myself for getting through this difficult time because now, 10 years from now, I've got that house that I was saving for, and I took advantage of actually going out a lot less, spending a lot less money during that pandemic time. Remember that? And I was able to save a little bit extra money and get into that house, and I might even describe that house to my current self, and also let myself know that now my son has graduated from college and he's into his career, and then if it helps me process, I could so then write that letter to my current self from my 10 years from now self. And then did you say we can also benefit from writing letters back from my current self?
Yeah,
maybe.
If you feel like you want to do that, yes, that can be helpful. I mean, sometimes it's just, having your future self write a letter to you now, that could be enough. It could be, hey, remember that whole COVID crisis, and remember how it was so pivotal for you because it made you realize that you can find joy and happiness in the simple things and the everyday things. It made you realize that you don't have to maintain the lifestyle that you had before. Or maybe it made you realize how much you really hated that job that you lost. And if it weren't for that, you would have been staying at that job, but you didn't, and now you have this new opportunity and you fell into a career that you never otherwise would have, but now you love your life.
That's an interesting strategy, and And then I like the idea that you talked about maybe even a PowerPoint presentation. That's a really cool idea. Sending maybe a PowerPoint presentation to ourselves. That's fantastic. Christina, as always, I wanna thank you for joining us and helping keep us stay healthy and strong. If a little bit early on that music there, Shane. Christina, if our families are listening and they're realizing, they need a little bit more support than you're able to give us in these last breaks here on the radio, how can they get a hold of you?
You can give me a call at 661-513-4857. Again, that's 661-513-4857, or contact me via my website, www.christinadebray.com.
And that's Kristina. Debree is Debree. ChristinaDebree.com. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Again, Christina, I want to thank you and the rest of our guests for coming on. Kathleen Fredette, Director of STEAM Initiatives for iLEAD Schools, our City Librarian, Shannon Vonnegut, and again, Christina, thank you so much. Join us again tomorrow at 9 a.m. and every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Tomorrow, we've got Executive Chef Cindy Smith. She's going to be giving tips on meal prepping, and we've got a lot more for you. You're listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson, and this is your hometown station, KHTS.